This is a bonus video where I'm going to show you how you can create your own graphics for your inventory menu so that you can use your own UI graphics inside of Unity. So we're actually going to be creating them inside of here. I'm using an older version of Unity, but there really is no limit or restriction on the versions. You can be using the newest version of Unity, a really old version, really doesn't matter. Okay, it's all the same. So just go into File, New Scene, create a new basic scene, okay, with nothing in it. Now let's say that, for example, I wanted to set up a baseball bat. So I'll click on the baseball bats, go to the assets, the prefabs, maybe drag this one in, just put it in the hierarchy, double click in order to get this lined up. Okay, and then let's say that I want to reposition the baseball bat so it's in a slightly more interesting position. Let's just say at a diagonal. Okay, something that looks interesting. Now through my game view you can see that my camera is really far away, so I need to position my camera. So click on the main camera, click game object and align with view, and that will set up this exact same viewpoint so the camera is looking at the exact same amount. Now clicking on the main camera we can actually change the field of view so you can zoom out or zoom in so you can get it positioned. Let's say that I want it pretty big, something like this. Now at the moment you can see the lighting is not particularly great, so let's just set up some lighting. Let's say that I want a light to be shining down at the object from about this position. So I'll get myself lined up in the scene view, go to game object, light, point light. As long as I've got it selected, I'm going to click game object and align with view, and that's going to set up that light in that exact same position. So instantly it looks a little bit more interesting. Indirect multiplier 0. Now let's say that I want this to be a kind of a warmish colour to warm this item up, so a little bit of an orangish kind of a colour, not too intense, otherwise it would be oversaturated. Range, I'm going to increase that a little bit to about 30, so it really extends out. And then my intensity, if I make this too intense it will be too bright. In fact, that's not bad, but I'll make it about a 1.6. Okay, just so you get that nice kind of lighting. Now at the moment you can see that these shadows are really dark, and this is a result of the directional light. Okay, so what I want to do here is use a complementary colour to the orangish kind of colour that I used. So if we take a look, it's basically a diagonal on the colour wheel, so a complementary colour is any colour in the blue. Okay, so if I choose kind of a bluish colour, come down a little bit, and then what I want to do is basically increase this intensity until I get a nice kind of shininess happening on the item. Okay, just to give it that kind of like slightly more 3D-ish aspect, so that it starts to kind of jump out at you. Shadows, I've already got those on, that's perfectly fine. If you switch your shadows off, let's see what happens. I actually prefer it without the shadows. Got a little bit more light coming on the front there. In intensity I might just take that down just a little bit. Yeah, just so it's not too intense. Okay, so I've now got basically a graphic set up there that I'm quite happy with. Now I don't want this background, I want to be able to cut this item out from its background just so that I can create a transparent PNG. So to do that I'm going to go to my main camera, I'm going to ensure that I'm changing clear flags to solid colour. I'm going to make the background pure black. Okay, and notice that part of this does kind of disappear into that black background, but that's perfectly fine. Okay, then if I right click on game and choose maximize, okay, I'll get a big maximized version of this. And then I'm going to use my print screen on the keyboard. So if you're on Windows you should have a print screen button, you just click that and I've now basically taken a screenshot. Okay, so I'm just going to right click and maximize. If you're on a Mac it's slightly different. You might need to go onto Google how to actually take a screenshot on the Mac. It's a keyboard combination I believe, and it will save it onto your desktop. Okay, so now that I've got that I can go to something like Paint, let's say, or whatever your default image editor is, and I can just now paste this in there and it will basically paste that entire item into there, which is fine. Okay, then I can do file, save as, I'll save it as a PNG, I think, just onto desktop, and let's just call it bat. I'll call it bat albedo or bat color maybe. Okay, now we need to create an alpha. So to do this, we're going to go to our main camera, we're going to change the background color to pure white. Okay, then we're going to switch off all of our lights. So I'm just going to click on both of these, switch them off, and it completely gets rid of any lights. So now we've basically got an inversed alpha map. Okay, once again, I'm going to right click, maximize. Once again, do the print screen, or if you're on the Mac, the keyboard combination. Right click, unmaximize, inside paint again, if I can get back to it, and paste. It should be in the exact same position. That's really important. File, save as, another PNG, bat, alpha. I can close that down now because I've done with that. Okay, and then obviously I can just switch these back on. So now I've got enough to actually create my image. Now I need to go into an image editing application. Okay, so if you have something like Photoshop, that's great, you can use Photoshop. If not, you can actually go onto the internet and use something called Pixlr. Okay, so that's Pixlr. This is like a free image editor online. It's very similar to a very basic cut down version of Photoshop. So if we click free image editing online, okay, I can now choose to open the image. I want my bat color. Okay, and then that opens up this. I'll agree to all of that. And then basically I want a new image in a new layer. So what I'll do here is go back to home, open a new image, bat alpha, and I want to add to the current, the active one. Okay, and what I get is a second layer that's added there. Now at the moment this is completely inversed, this alpha. And then what we need to do is to actually invert this item. Okay, so to do this we need to move over to the more advanced system. So if we go back to toggle home and then over to Pixlr again, and we choose the advanced photo editor, click back on this, you will now see that we've got a bunch of drop downs at the top here. So as long as we're on this layer, let's choose adjustment and invert. Okay, so this is the correct alpha now. And now if we come up, as long as we've got bat alpha selected, if we come up to layer and we'll choose AI auto mask, that will automatically mask this out. You can see that from this little icon of these like little scissors. And then we're going to right click, and from the blend mode we're going to choose alpha erase. And it looks like it's done the wrong way, so that's interesting. Let's try mask. There we go. Okay, so now our background is, although it's still got the black background, the actual alpha mask has cut out the background. So now we've effectively got an image with a transparent background, so we can actually save this image out. However, at the moment it's pretty big. So what you would probably want to do is use some kind of image size on this. So at the moment this is way too big for a UI image. So let's say that we wanted maybe the height of this to be about 200. So then we can do that, 200 by 282, apply that, and obviously then the image comes out looking like this. Okay, so once you've got this image with its transparent background, it's then just a case of going to File, saving this or exporting it. Quick export image as PNG. Okay, make sure it is a PNG so you can preserve the transparent background, and then yep, let's save that, and that will then save onto your desktop or wherever as a transparent PNG. Oh no, that was the alpha one, wasn't it? Where is it exported? Maybe into my downloads. Let's have a look. There it is, and there it is. Okay, that has actually got a transparent background now, even though it looks white. It's actually transparent. And now you can use that in your UI inside of Unity. It's perfectly fine. Okay. Obviously call it anything you like, just to ensure that it has that PNG extension. Okay, so that's how you can easily create your own UI graphics using Unity.